What's up, guys? Today we're going to be trying on this mysterious headset that I found in an abandoned building. Okay, log into VR. Where am I? No! No!
Indie animation is all the rage these days, probably because the current state of broadcast TV is extremely bleak. People don't want to see the same old Rick and Morty or Family Guy type show. No, they want to see the shiny new thing from Zach Hadel or Michael Cusack or Visvipop or haha, you clowns. And since you've seen a video essay before, you obviously know that I'm going to segue from indie animation to digital circus. You read the title of the video. These video essays are all the same anyways. You know what? I'm just gonna leave and you can imagine the video essay for yourself. The Amazing Digital Circus is an indie animated show written by Gooseworx and released by the indie animation company Glitch Productions in 2023. And it's probably the biggest show to come out of YouTube since ever. Maybe stuff like Food Battle and BFDI have a fighting chance when you take view inflation into account, but when your least viewed episode still has 98 million views, you've definitely written yourself into the pages of YouTube history. I first watched the pilot about a week after it came out because the internet would just not stop fucking screaming about it. It is impossible to describe how unavoidable this shit was on my Twitter, so I watched it. The pilot of Digital Circus does what most pilots do, and it sets the tone for the whole show. We follow this person, Pomni, who supposedly put on this strange headset and is now trapped in the Amazing Digital Circus.
Hey, that's the name of the show.
Inside were the wild cast of kooky characters. Kane, the AI ringmaster who makes adventures for the other people trapped in the circus. Jax, the troublemaking rabbit. Gangle, this ribbon character who's sad and stuff. Zubul, who's made out of these like toy parts and they cuss and they're abrasive cause they're cool, I guess. Kinger, the crazy one. And Ragatha, a ragdoll who's nice to the point of fault. Basically, in this episode, we watch Pomni go through a mental breakdown as she frantically tries to find an exit as other stuff happens. One of the other circus members, Cosmo the Clown, has abstracted, which is apparently a thing that can happen when you go completely insane. And Pomni actually does find an exit, but it's just a door that leads her through a bunch of office spaces. And in the end, Pomni finds out that there is no real exit. That exit door was just something that Kane made because all of the other circus members really wanted an exit, but Kane just could not figure out what to put on the other side. She is trapped here forever. So I watched this and I thought it was fine, like a 6 out of 10. I'll get into it more later, but yeah, I thought it was just fine. In between the release of the pilot and episode 2, the fandom of Digital Circus started to get a bit insane. People were standing the shit out of all of these characters, and on the other side, they were making music videos and video essays, and yes, many content farms based off a single episode of TV. Oh, and also the voice actors and creator of the show got doxxed and harassed, but that's just the internet. Nothing you can do about that. So after this honestly bleak era of content farms and video essays on this one mid-at-best TV pilot, episode 2 released, and it's about Pomni and co going on this candy adventure, and she no-clips out of bounds with this NPC who becomes self-aware after seeing his own character model. But she has a nice conversation with him, and the stuff that the rest of the people are doing is not important. Once again, I thought it was fine. Probably better than the pilot, but also maybe too self-contained. So when I heard that episode 3 was going to be released, which I found out from a tweet from Chazington's good friend Seatbelt, I didn't consciously decide not to watch it, but I did just sort of lose interest. As I watched episodes continue to release, I thought to myself, should I watch them? And then I'd usually decide, nah, I'm good. It's not like I actively avoided the show, I just didn't think about it much. Until the release of episode 6, where all of a sudden all of the artists I was following on Instagram were ranting and raving about how great episode 6 was, so I decided, okay, fine, let's watch Digital Circus and see if it's good. So I rewatched episode 1 and 2, I watched episode 3, and it's honestly pretty damn good. I watch episode 4 and it's good. I watch episode 5 and it's great. And episode 6 is amazing. And I realized, holy shit, I've been missing out on a pretty great indie show. I like Digital Circus. I don't love it. I definitely think the show has some kinks that need to be ironed out. But yeah, this show is quite good. But let's talk about it in more depth. God, that's a terrible transition.
The Amazing Digital Circus. It's amazing. And it's digital.
Before I start talking about the show, I have to say, Go watch Digital Circus if you haven't already. Every episode is available for free to watch on YouTube, except for one, but we'll talk about that later. Anyways, I already summarized episode 1, so I don't think I need to do that again. I think episode 1 is the worst episode of the show, for a few reasons.
It doesn't really succeed at being a pilot. To paraphrase something Drew Gooden has said before, which is pretty much what I do in all of my videos, a good pilot is really difficult to pull off. You have to introduce characters in a meaningful way, make sure the plot is good enough to hook the viewer, but not too high concept that you can't meaningfully engage with it. It has to show you the format of the show, explain the concept, and basically be a successful elevator pitch to the viewer so that they are eager to continue watching. And this episode does like none of those things. It does a pretty good job at introducing you to Pomni, Ragatha, and Jax, although Pomni at this point is a very different character to who she is now, but I won't fault the pilot for that. What I will fault it for is that these three probably have like 20 lines max between all of them. I know that Gooseworx says that Pomni and Jax are the main characters, but the ensemble element is a pretty important part of this show, and I just feel like that is not present in this pilot. It certainly doesn't show the format or explain the concept of the show. I feel like this episode is actually very different from every other episode. And sure, it introduces us to some important stuff like abstraction and the digital circus in general. But you know, Kane also talks about the digital carnival and the void, and that has not mattered for the entire show up until this point. I feel like a lot of the time in this pilot is spent inefficiently. Like, look at this scene after Ragatha gets attacked by the abstracted Cosmo, and Pomni's talking to Ragatha, but Ragatha's glitching around. And this glitching effect, like, it's interesting, but it also just means that all of Ragatha's lines take twice as long to get said because she just has to glitch. It's stuff like this, and when Pomni's running through the fake exits and going insane, where I just feel like this is a lot to ask of your first-time viewers to be okay with, because this is cringe and just not very good. Most of this pilot is a lot to ask of your viewers. It's not very well written, including the humor, like I only laughed once. The whole plot is interesting, but it isn't executed well. Why should people watching for the first time care about any of this?
But the thing is that even if the bad parts of the pilot are bad, the good parts are pretty damn good. Like the animation. I know this is outdated by Glitch's modern standards, but it still looks very good. And the music. Like, Gooseworx is such a good composer. All of the music combined with the animation just makes it so that this pilot has so much atmosphere. That's what I can say this pilot really succeeds at. Just nailing the atmosphere. This song at the end, I wouldn't be surprised if 20% of the success of Digital Circus came from just this song, because it's so good and grand and cinematic. God, it's great. The bad parts of this episode are kinda bad, but the good parts are really good, which is why I'd still give it like a 6 out of 10. But the problem is that a pilot kinda has to be good if you want to hook people. Shows like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Arrested Development, The Boys, they pull you in because the beginning is so damn good. And a mediocre pilot isn't awful, but it's pretty fucking bad when it's the only thing the show has for 8 months. For 75% of a year, this mid-ass pilot was all that Digital Circus was. So the fandom and content farms that formed around it was something awful, but we'll get to that later. Episode 2 is not great, but for different reasons. I think the biggest problem is that it's too self-contained. I feel like it doesn't really help develop anyone, even Pomni, because I feel like she gets more development in the next episode. The whole Gummy Goose side plot was kinda cool. Like, I thought it was interesting, but as of right now, it doesn't really do anything for the whole show. The dream sequence at the beginning is forgettable, and the side plot with the other circus characters also doesn't really do anything. It's also just kind of forgettable. It's better than the pilot, but it still just kind of feels okay. We actually get to see side characters do something for once, which is a big thumbs up in my book, but it's really not anything to write home about. 7 out of 10. Now, episode 3 is where the show starts to get very good. Like, legitimately really, really good. Episode 3 is great. I'd probably say it's the only episode without any cringeworthy lines or moments, which is pretty huge for this show. Basically, it's another adventure where they go to this haunted house. Pomni and Kinger accidentally go down the big scary path, and Kinger proves himself to be the best character by soloing the monster. And when they get dragged to hell, he tells Pomni about his whole deal with his dead wife. Also, he becomes not crazy when he's in the dark. The other characters don't do much in this episode, but I don't really mind it here. I don't know why, honestly. Go ahead, call me a hypocrite. I contain multitudes. Meanwhile, back in the circus, Zoob will skip the adventure, so Kane is really drilling into them to find out why. And more than anything else, this scene just sort of shows that Kane is very, very unstable. Pomni and Kinger walk out of hell with this beautiful shot, and they all go back to the circus. I mean, shit, man, this episode is great. There's nothing in it that I can point at and fully say this is bad. It marks a turning point with Pomni's character where she stops being the one who just gets traumatized all the time. It is the reason that Kinger is my favorite character in the show. It's really visually engaging. Really not much more to say. 9.5 out of 10. Episode 4. Zooble tells Kane that they don't want to do the new scary adventure, so they use the suggestion box instead, and land on the adventure being a day of hard work at copyright-friendly McDonald's. Gangle is also given this plastic happy mask that doesn't break, because that's like her whole thing, and she is made manager for the day at McDonald's. But as it turns out, this mask is less of a happy mask and more of a mania mask, as Gangle sort of starts to break down as the day goes on. And at the end of the day, she throws away the mask, but that causes her to accidentally jump in front of a truck. This episode is pretty dang good. I like it a lot, although there is one glaring issue that I feel like brings down the whole episode, and that's the part where Kane brings back Gummy Goo and Pomni's acting all weird trying to hang out with him, and it's just like, I don't care. What am I supposed to get out of this side plot? It's not interesting. Am I supposed to get the message that escapism through AI is a bad alternative to human interaction? Because that's very shallow. It's not particularly fun or funny to watch. It's just kind of cringy and uncomfortable. And it makes me sympathize with the people who get mad that Gummy Goo keeps on being used because he's just not important. But the rest of the episode is pretty solid. Gangle's whole shebang is interesting to watch. Jack, Zooble, and Ragatha are all fun and funny in their own ways. And the ending where Zooble extends an olive branch to Gangle is sweet. It's a good episode overall. Great even, but not amazing. 8 out of 10. Episode 5. The gang is tired of Kane's adventures, so Kane forces them to go on a lightning round of adventures from the suggestion box. These start as adventures, but as the episode goes on, they sort of just become set pieces for the characters to talk to each other and flesh each other out. And this episode, I think, is Digital Circus doing some of its best work. I love how it really feels like every character matters here. I love how it's less about fast-paced hijinks and mostly just characters talking, and that talking is either funny or well-written. If I had to point at something I disliked...
What's your story then?
I thought you'd never ask. Well, after my lung cancer diagnosis, me and my junkie associate from a chemistry class I used to teach
Yeah, I figured. How about you, Gangle?
Hey, I wasn't done.
If you're gonna make shit up, at least be creative about it. I know what you're referencing.
It just seems a bit forced. Also this. You're like 3 years too late. But I really like what we're doing here. I like how it even feels like it's starting an overarching plot with Pomni getting closer to Jax this episode. Yeah, it's really good. 9 out of 10. Episode 6 is called They All Get Guns, and that is apt. The adventure for this episode, after much deliberation, is a battle royale of sorts where there are 3 teams, and the last team standing is the winner. Zooble and Gangle versus Kanger and Ragatha versus Pomni and Jax. A lot of stuff happens throughout this episode, emotional conversations, blah blah blah. But basically it all leads to this final scene where Jax is denying that he was ever friends with Pomni. And after some intense denial and getting his shit rocked, Jax walks away. Then they go to this favorite character awards thing Kane set up. Jax has a Mario movie realistic panic attack, and yeah, that's the episode. It might not have come through in the summary, but I really like this episode. All of these conversation scenes, like, yeah, they've been done before, but I don't know, man, they just emotionally resonate with me. They're so good. The animation feels like it got a step up in quality. Kinger is the goat of everything always, and yeah, it's just superb. The problem is that sometimes it just gets dragged down by the dumbass dialogue. And I know you guys are probably pointing at the Jax monologue, but honestly, I don't think I have as big of a problem with this scene as everyone else does. Like, yeah, it's cringe and overdramatic, but also, it's supposed to be. No, what I have a problem with are these specific lines of dialogue.
Why are you afraid of corn? And don't say that you're not. You literally jumped out of your seat twice when you saw some.
Not gonna let me out of this one.
Like, man... Talk like a human being! Don't say you're not. You literally jumped out of your seat twice when you saw it. Pretend you're not an alien for 5 fucking seconds and write human dialogue! Oh my god! It just annoys me every time I hear it because, like... what the fuck? But overall, the episode is still very solid. 9.3 out of 10.
Episode 7 is... different. Kane doesn't have an adventure for the day, so they all decide to have a fun beach day. But then Pomni sees this mannequin guy gesturing over to her. Then we cut to Jax, who fully almost distracts, but is interrupted by Pomni and Ragatha with the mannequin. The mannequin explains that he's a human that was overlooked by Kane because he looks like all of the other mannequins and that he thinks he's found a way to leave. After explaining Digital Circus lore to the entire circus crew minus Kinger, they concoct a plan to leave, and we also find out that this guy is named Abel. isn't that subtle. Jax gets this key, Pomni and Ragatha go able to get these admin pass things, and eventually they make it to this console where they can press the red button to stay in the circus or the blue button to leave the circus. But they hesitate choosing which button to press, and as we're debating it, Jax is having another episode and runs up and hits the red button, trapping them forever.
What did you just do?
But very shortly after...
Congratulations, my little cattywampus cucumbers!
Yeah, this was all an adventure. Cain lied his ass off to force them into an adventure in which they thought they'd be able to leave, and they are not happy at all. Yeah, this episode is pretty great. It's pretty obvious on a rewatch that this whole thing was a lie, but I'll be honest, I wasn't convinced this was real when I watched it, but I didn't see this coming. I think this episode does what it wants to do well. It really gets the real plot moving again. After episode upon episode of it just being the adventure of the week, this episode is focused on escaping and reaching the climax of the show. It was very good, maybe a bit self-contained, but yeah, I like it a good bit. 9 out of 10. Episode 8 is pretty much the aftermath of episode 7. The crew grapples with the fact that there is no way to escape this place, and they decide to keep each other safe and stick together no matter what, including Jax. Meanwhile, Cain is having trouble with the fact that the humans were weirdly angry that his whole adventure was a giant lie dangling the possibility of escape in front of him. And after having a monologue with himself that's maybe a bit melodramatic, he's gone off the deep end. He has decided that if they don't want to go on his adventures, well, he can just force them. So Cain sings a little song about it. The crew goes through a bit of torture for a few weeks, but then Pomni puts a bucket on Kinger's head that causes him to be sane again, because remember? Kinger said that there's a way to temporarily shut Cain down if he can get a computer interface. After Pomni gets that for him, they go out to distract Cain, but he catches wise of the whole situation. So Pomni and the others decide to insult him and the adventures, and that makes him quite upset. Like, he starts to set up personalized torture scenes for each of them upset. Cain's fully crashing out, and as we see Kinger try to get into Cain's coding, he accidentally fat fingers the delete button, and...
Wait.
Cain is dead. The circus is eroding. And that's the episode.
I'm not gonna beat around the bush. This is my favorite episode of the show. I love it so much. Other episodes have individual moments that are at times more potent or emotionally resonant, but come on, man. This is so fucking good. People like to hate on Cain's monologue and the scene where they decide to stick together and call it corny, and I just do not see it. Yes, the Cain monologue is a lot, but also it's entirely in character for him to be like that. And the crew isn't gonna do some third act breakup. You know why? Because we're all adults. They're more mature than to excommunicate Jax for something that in the end doesn't matter. All of these scenes are great. Alex Rokon does an absolutely stellar job at portraying Cain. I like Cain's musical number, and it's right in my vocal range, and I know what you're gonna say, and stop. No, I'm not gonna do a vocal cover. Oh my gosh, you guys are so embarrassing. Front to back, this is my favorite episode in the show so far. 9.7 out of 10. Yeah, I love a lot of the episodes of this show. I will say that if you want to watch it, you need to have tolerance to cringy moments. If a single second of cringe is enough to make you hate a show, then this show is not for you. But when you look past that, this show has a lot of great moments. But as much as I like and even love all of the episodes in this show, it is by no means a perfect show. I think by far my biggest problem with the show is that it's only 9 episodes long. It's the most vocal criticism people have about the show, but unlike those people, I'm going to talk about the benefits of it being short, because there actually are some benefits. Every episode feels like it uses its time as efficiently as possible. Except for episode 1, 2, and 4, every episode feels concise and to the point. And that's definitely what Goose was going for when she wrote the show. She wanted it to be quick and concise with no fat. But while it's cool that she wanted to do that, overall, I think the length of the show is a net negative. Mostly because it leaves the characters underdeveloped. Each of these characters are conceptually really cool. They all exemplify some sort of fatal flaw or mental illness, and they're all written really well. The problem is that the show never really gives us any time with most of these characters. When it comes to characters I'd say are properly developed before a finale, it's like Pomni, Jax, and maybe Kinger. That's really it. Like, look at Zubul. They never get to do anything. Even Gangle has her own episode. Zubul barely has any character development. They're the focal point of like 2 scenes in the whole fucking show. And Gangle and Ragatha are also just kind of nothing.
They're just like not important, like they don't matter.
It really feels like the show only cares about giving focus to these 2 characters, especially after episode 6. And I know that Gooseworx has said that Pomni and Jax are the main characters of the show, and I can respect that. I'm not one of those people that bitch and moan that Jax gets too much screen time. He's clearly important. important. But this just feels like a deflection from the fact that so many characters feel like they barely get any time to shine. The ensemble element is an important part of this show, and it just doesn't feel well utilized. And I think the only way to really improve this without walking back to character development you've already have is by making the show longer. Like, the number of episodes I've landed on is 16. You can have some moments where it's slow and also give more substantial character development. Because as of recording this before a finale, I just do not think that the finale will be able to wrap everything up. Like, how could it? 1 hour cannot cover all of the wasted potential of this show. Also, another product of the show being this short is that for the first 5 episodes, the show really felt like it had an adventure of the week format, where every episode they'd go somewhere on an adventure. Kane would explain what the adventure is about, they'd go, it'd suck, and then they came back to the circus. But then, all of a sudden, since episode 6, we've only been in the circus. We haven't gone anywhere. It just feels jarring, which I also think would be fixed by a longer runtime. Also, the writing, yeah, it's just not good at multiple moments. Like, enough that I can't really say I love the show.
If anyone needs me, then f off.
You fucking suck!
But this is all my opinion before the finale comes out. So before we talk about the big, grand, masterful finale, I want to talk about the fandom.
I don't know. Why does he look like that? I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna be real here. The digital circus fandom is probably one of the biggest reasons why the show is not more popular than it already is. I guarantee you at least 50% of the people watching this video who haven't watched Digital Circus haven't watched it because the fandom is so goddamn annoying. When I think of the average Digital Circus fan, I mean, it's hard to describe without using other subjective terms. It's sort of like calling someone Twitter or Reddit like that means anything. But when I think of them, they're like an SMG4 fan. They don't really watch any real TV shows or movies. They're like the upper level of the Has-Been Hotel fandom, which still isn't very good. They're eccentric, and they probably still watch TF2SFM videos, and they woobify everything, and there's not really anything wrong with them, they're just annoying. That's not really descriptive of anything, but that's what I think of when I imagine a Digital Circus fan. So I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that I'm a Digital Circus fan because I don't want other people to think that I'm that type of person. I'm not. My philosophy on fandoms is that no matter what, you'll usually be able to have some enjoyable experiences with them. Unless the content is inherently abhorrent, you should be able to find a group of like-minded people with similar humor and just have fun with it. But the shittiness and annoyingness of the Digital Circus fandom is so far and wide that even though I have found people like me in the fandom, I still constantly get whispers of the most annoying people ever. Like, overall, this is one of the worst fandoms I've been in. Besides GD Twitter, this is the most annoying group of people I've ever been a part of. And the fan content I've seen come out of the fandom is also not great. Like, the songs. I've heard a few Digital Circus songs, and they're fine. I personally like Wacky World and Happy Place. Yeah, sue me. I like the Digital Circus Minecraft character fan song. You can laugh. I'll wait. You can stop laughing. Jack's toy is honestly extremely catchy, even though the guy who made it is a spoiler for a later segment in the video. The Jack song is really, really awesome. If you haven't heard it, it's basically a song about Jax, who you may know is quite the scamp. And basically as the song goes on, we get introduced to Thomas, who, well,
why the fuck do you look like me?
And basically the song progresses to the point that Thomas realizes that he's gay for Jax. And the song ends with maybe the best line in any song ever.
Now I work at Greg's, I miss him every day. Sometimes I pretend my wife is Jax, I might be gay.
This is great. This is good. I like this a lot. And this would be my favorite Digital Circus song, were it not for one more. This is the funniest shit ever. I love this. I will always love this. S'more is a nerdcore artist who makes intentionally bad nerdcore. Like, okay, you know Jackie's Box, you know Extra Tuna? S'more basically does the same thing, except he's funnier. And his song Digital Circus Song Door is Jammed Wait I'm Mad is easily his best work. There's so much I love about it. It actually feels alive and chaotic, unlike his other work that feels a bit static. S'more has this thing in his songs in general where he'll say lines that make like half sense.
I am digital, it feels like I'm in bathroom stall.
Like, what does this mean? What does he mean, I feel like I am in bathroom stall? I guess he's trying to convey how he feels trapped, but your first comparison for feeling trapped is a bathroom stall? How random and weird and out of nowhere, and then he follows it up with maybe true. Maybe true? What does that mean? It's great. We get Big Dylan. We love Big Dylan. Man, just something about him. that subtle off-white coloring, the tasteful thickness of it. Oh my god, he even has a big belly. And the most important part is that it legitimately sounds good. Like, I know what I'm playing next time I get the aux. And another good Digital Circus song is... oh! That's all of them. Yeah, from what I've seen, the other Digital Circus songs are either not for me or just straight up bad. Like this hilarious Jax's Requiem, which I can only describe as being severely misguided. Or this Gangle Mask song, which was made by Black Griffin, a special tool to help us later. Yeah, it's bad. I'd say the Digital Circus fandom is similar to the Pizza Tower fandom, where the original content is pretty good, but the fandom content is kinda bad. But at least the Pizza Tower fandom has mods. The Digital Circus fandom doesn't even get mods. But it's not just the fan content that's bad. Oh, no. Because if you haven't noticed, the pilot for Digital Circus got 400 million views. And when you're that popular, there's a different caliber of person who'll make content out of you. Yeah, Digital Circus has a really bad content farm problem. This honestly shouldn't be surprising because hachi machi, but especially in the months after the pilot came out, you could not avoid seeing this sort of shit everywhere. Honestly, this is probably another detractor for people who haven't watched the show, because usually content farms farm content off of stuff that sucks. But whatever, content farms are the lowest common denominator things to make fun of. I can point at the screen and say, wow, that's poorly made, and also there's fetishes in this. This is new information that we've never heard before. We all know YouTube Kids is a fucking nightmare. But there is one content farm that's broken through the veil. One that I've actually seen people call, and this might be shocking, good. Andreas Siskander is your run-of-the-mill content farm channel. He's a J-Station type of person who has all of these popular indie game characters living in his house. And also, I think he got Lily Lovebrace from Poppy Playtime pregnant, which... hey man, you do you. Just stay away from Pomni, okay? That's my gal. And back in 2023, like every other soulless slop channel, he decided to jump on the bandwagon. But recently, I've been seeing people posting clips from these videos and saying that they're actually good, so I want to know... are they? The critically acclaimed video, Kane captured Pomni on a circus wheel in real-life Digital Circus movie, begins by introducing us to our main character, Andreas Iskander. Now, Andreas is in a bit of a pickle because recently the Digital Circus characters have been living in his house and running amok, causing shenanigans. I honestly love when content farms exist in this weird middle space between reality and fiction. Like, on the one hand, they're trying to convince the dumbass kids on their iPad that the Digital Circus characters are real and in their house, and that's a thing that's actually happening. But on the other hand, it just sounds so ridiculous when you say the concept of the video out loud. The Digital Circus characters are real and living in this guy's house. This genre of video always operates in this mystical zone. J-Station, Super Serial, Arcade Craniacs, this guy, it's great. Anyways, we go to a drone shot and holy shit, this guy lives in a mansion. This dude is filthy rich, but also he just lives in a residential neighborhood. I feel bad for his neighbors, man. So we see Kane outside holding this toothbrush, and apparently he's making some sort of carnival. Cool. Andreas goes downstairs and Kane is there, and it is immediately clear that Kane is the star of the show. Anything even mildly entertaining or funny in these videos is solely caused by Kane. He's just so fucking good.
Why are you holding a gigantic toothbrush? Well, I gotta keep my teeth clean, don't I? Sorry, people.
Anyways, Kane's first carnival game is Spin the Wheel. Kinger spins the wheel and it lands on fart, so then he farts. We'll move past that. Next up, Jack spins the wheel and it lands on Kiss Your Crush, so he goes to kiss Pomni and it's honestly beautiful. Next, Kane spins the wheel and it lands on Put on a Diaper.
Dude!
I'll be honest, once I got to this point in the video, I just could not handle watching it anymore. This stuff really isn't any different from normal content farm shit. It's poorly made, it's low budget as shit, there's weird fetishes thrown in there just as a little treat. The only thing close to a saving grace in these videos is Kane. The guy under the mask clearly just understands his character a lot and is actually kind of funny. All of the voices for the characters are far off, but honestly, I think that works with how cracked out the characters look. mask. If this Jax costume with a bunch of holes in the face had like a perfect Kovac impression, it'd just make you think about how fucking stupid this looks. But overall, I'd give this content like a 4 out of 10. Don't watch it. Just watch clip compilations of Kane. You're not missing much. But you know what? If this vid gets 20k likes, I'll watch all of these and rank them because I love to suffer. Okay, I think it's time. It's time to talk about the finale of the amazing digital circus. Wait, this isn't the finale. You're right, Gug. This isn't the finale. Let me explain. Throughout its release, Digital Circus has had a lot of controversies, and I personally don't really care about any of them. I don't care if people are mad that they're making too much merch, or that people are slamming their fists in anger whenever Jax shows up, because how dare a main character have scenes in the show that they're in. But in the past month or so, there has been a lot of stuff that has come out about the voice actors of Digital Circus, to the point that if I didn't mention it, I feel like people would call me out for glossing over it. And I do actually think it's important to talk about it, just so people are informed. So I'm just gonna summarize all of the stuff I've heard about these people, but specifically the stuff that I think is worth talking about, because there's plenty of stuff out there that doesn't matter. Like, for example, one of the reasons people are giving shit to Michael Kovac, the voice of Jax, is because he cheated on his partner. Which is stupid because, one, that's not our business to get angry about, and two, his partner is still friends with them. They've clearly made up because his partner is Ashley Nichols, the voice of Zubul. Like, that's a situation where I think there is no point in being mad or criticizing them, because why the fuck do you care? I'm also not going to give my opinion on these situations because I don't think I have anything useful to add to the conversation around these controversies, and also I want you to form your own opinion. Don't get your opinion from a YouTuber, especially this YouTuber. That's stupid. Before I start, I want to be clear. No matter how much you might hate or dislike the voice actors, watching the show doesn't make you a bad person. I don't want to sound like a Kanye West fan, but like, you should be able to separate the art from the artist. Am I not allowed to like Uncut Gems because Adam Sandler is a Republican Zionist? No, that's fucking stupid. That movie's amazing. And I know it's slightly harder to make the disconnect because of how much the voice actors have associated themselves with their characters, doing merch signings and interviews and convention panels and live streams where they all play friend swap games together, and they all advertise themselves like, I'm the voice actor of Zubul, I'm the voice actor of Jax. But they aren't their characters, they aren't the show, they're just people in the real world. Keep that in mind. You're still allowed to like the show, even if the people behind it are a bit problematic. Anyways, I'm gonna go through these quickly. Here's a quick guide so you know who I'm talking about. Michael Kovac voices Jax, Ashley Nichols voices Zubul, Amanda Hubbard voices Ragatha, Marissa Lenti voices Gangle, Sean Chiplock voices Kinger, Lizzie Freeman voices Pomni, Alex Rokon voices Kane, and Gooseworx is the show's creator and voices Bubble. Okay, so starting out with Michael and Ashley. Around a month ago, a clip resurfaced from a 2019 livestream in which Michael and Ashley were repeatedly joking about a word that sounded like the N-word, with the entire joke being that the word sounded like the N-word.
Aaron, sure, nigga, we notice you.
She did not. It just sounded like it.
I said nega, you fucking idiot.
It sounded like another word.
They have since apologized for that clip and sworn to do better. Gooseworx also took part in this joke, as saying the word became an inside joke for their livestream show Honeycast, because it's just so funny, I guess. Gooseworx has yet to respond. Amanda Hubbard is associated with Kitten Sneeze, Jake Neutron, and Black Griffin, who are all extremely problematic bad people. Pause here to read up on them. They have also not responded. You know how I talked about that Mask song by Black Griffin? Well, that song is about Gangle, and the person who voices Gangle in the song is none other than Marissa Lenti herself. When she was criticized for working with Black Griffin, she released a statement where she said that she heard the accusation of Black Griffin grooming his wife, but then she spoke to the alleged grooming victim, and she said she hadn't been groomed, so Marissa decided that it was okay to work with him. People were quick to point out that, one, she obviously shouldn't have taken the grooming victim's words at face value, because duh, but also, two, there is literal evidence of him grooming her online. If she had done her own research, she would have seen this. So she then released a second statement apologizing and saying that she regrets working with him. Just as an aside, I think it's a little funny that Marissa saw the accusations, decided to still work with him knowing that he was at the very least controversial, and then proceeded to make one of the most dog-ass songs I've heard in my entire life. It is so funny to me that she threw her morals away for this!
So I mask how I feel till I don't know what is real.
Anyways, back to drama. Sean Chiplock got accused of grooming a minor in 2024, but it was cleared up that he didn't groom anyone, he just engaged in a sexually inappropriate conversation with a minor for around an hour, and Sean did not know that that person was a minor. Sean has addressed this, and the victim themselves said that Sean did not groom them, and they both seemed to be on good terms. And finally, Lizzie and Alex didn't really do anything, other than a poorly worded response that was promptly deleted by Alex, and Lizzie working with Black Griffin long before anything had come out about him. I haven't really seen anything wrong that either of these two have done. And that's the drama. Quick, easy, done. I have my own opinions on the drama, but I genuinely don't think it's necessary to give them. Although, there is one more drama, one more thing that I actually think I can give a unique take on. So Digital Circus has been getting released free on YouTube for the past 8 episodes. They got a Netflix deal, but Glitch made sure to clarify that episodes would always be posted on YouTube first. So imagine how surprised I was when shortly after episode 8 released, some random cinema website started listing tickets to see the finale 2 weeks before it was supposed to release on YouTube. But I thought to myself, it's probably nothing. It was probably just a glitch with the movie theater website. They wouldn't actually do that, would they? And then the trailer for episode 9 came out and... oh my fucking god. Yeah, Glitch Productions, in their infinite wisdom, decided to screen the finale in theaters 2 weeks before it released, and people were mad at this, including me. And the reason I'm pissed off about this should be obvious, but I'll explain it to you. This was a free-to-watch web series. This show built its audience by being quality television that you could watch for free on YouTube without having to worry about exclusivity or anything. And then, right at the finish line, they decided, fuck all that goodwill we spent years building up. We could make so much goddamn money if we released this in theaters instead. Spoilers aren't just likely, they're inevitable. With how large and rabid this fanbase is, I expect to get spoiled on the finale, and I'm seeing it 2 days after it releases in theaters. Yeah, I fucking fell for the marketing. I'm not trying to get spoiled. You win, Glitch. People have made arguments in favor of showing it in theaters. Movies usually have theater exclusivity too. Yeah, movies, not free to watch TV shows. If the first 2 Lord of the Rings movies came out for free online and then for Return of the King they were like, we're gonna release this one in theaters, I'd still be pissed off. And that's not even a strong comparison, cause I'm 20 times more likely to get spoiled for a show with a huge online following. Other shows have released episodes in theaters, why can't Digital Circus? I don't think any of those shows released for episodes 2 fucking weeks early. And even with all of the ones I can think of, The Boys, Stranger Things, Game of Thrones, they were never free. They were all on a pay-to-watch service, so it's not even close to comparable. Also, unrelated, but that lineup of TV episodes released in theaters is not a great omen for Digital Circus. This whole thing is an entirely unique situation, where a free-to-watch indie show makes an international release with 2 weeks of exclusivity. The closest thing I can compare that to is like BFDI. And fuck BFDI. It is truly baffling that people are willing to bend over backwards to say that there is nothing wrong with this, that this is not a betrayal to the fans in any way. A situation in which you essentially have to pay to not get spoilers, and also you can't live in a developing country or else you're just not allowed to watch it for 2 weeks. Yeah, no, this is perfectly chill. And Glitch has addressed this. They've said that they wanted less exclusivity, but the theaters pushed them on it. They said that they wanted to send a message by releasing this finale in theaters. They wanted to drive the genre of indie animation. And like, that's all nice and virtuous, but something I feel like is being left out of this statement is that they also want fucking money. Glitch is in a bad place right now. I mean, maybe Gameverse can keep them afloat for a bit, but right now we're at a point where their biggest cash cow is leaving the pasture. And being a company that releases all of their stuff for free on YouTube and makes most of their money from merch sales, and they're employing animators full-time and treating them ethically, they're just not very profitable right now. But if they get Digital Circus in theaters, they can make $10 million in pre-sale. They can get some wannabe YouTuber to buy tickets. And more importantly, they can open the door for other theater releases. So while I can maybe half believe that they did this for virtuous reasons, I feel like the biggest reason is money. I'm not saying that we should hang Glitch from the rafters. I'm not saying that we should denounce them and never support them again. But I am saying that this is strike one. Anyways, I'll let Gug talk about the fucking finale. I wasn't like frozen in time or anything. I was just paralyzed. I couldn't move. I heard everything he said. So yeah, as you've just heard, it's gonna be a bit difficult for me to talk about the finale because not only is the finale not out on YouTube yet, but also I haven't seen it yet. But I will be seeing it on a Saturday at 10 a.m. So Let's cut to that footage.
Hey guys, I'm here outside Landmark Cinema, specifically to the side because it is so fucking windy right now. Now, I'm very interested to see what the hell this is gonna be like. You know, digital circus finale in theaters. Wow, it's gonna be crazy. Now, you might be asking, Gug, why are you seeing this on a Saturday at 10 a.m. And you know, probably 50% of the reason is to punish myself for supporting this shit. You know, I'm pretty against this whole fucking theater release. So, you know, if I'm gonna buy tickets, because I have to for a video, I'm gonna make myself watch it bright and fucking early. But also, you know, I spent like 10 minutes talking about how digital circus fans are like some of the most annoying people ever. Well, I'm about to be in a room with 50 of them in real life. I've never met a digital circus fan IRL before. I only know one digital circus fan in real life. Shout out to Blue Jays 007 for being the only digital circus fan I know in real life. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing the Big Dylan. Yeah, I got the Big Dylan on for today. Will these digital circus fans know how to watch a movie? Or will they scream at the screen the whole time? Will they remember to wear deodorant? These are the questions that I have to ask myself before watching a digital circus The Last Act. You know, the theater could also be empty. That's a distinct possibility. I should probably explain what this whole theater event is, because it's not just a finale. If I'm remembering correctly, I'm just remembering off the top of my head, it's supposed to start with a recap of the events of digital circus by a certain character. I'm guessing Jax, because it probably is Jax. And then it's going to play episode 8 and episode 9, one after another. So, let's see if this, goes poorly.
Let me paint a picture for you. As it would turn out, I got here so early, I was here before the theater even opened, so I just sat here on this bench and yes, okay, yes, we see the Big Dylan, bro, we get it. But when 9:30 hit, I raced to screen one so I could be the first in the theater to watch this amazing digital movie.
This auditorium's gonna fill up in about 10 minutes.
So here's a fun one. I was talking to the ticket scanner guy, and as someone who served 2 tours at Cineplex, I know that certain movies have certain audiences, and certain movies are dirtier than others. So when I talked to the guy, according to him, the last few shows of Digital Circus were very rowdy and messy. So at this point, I'm getting nervous that my experience is gonna suck. Also, I tried looking, but there's no Pomni paraphernalia around this landmark, which is a damn tragedy. Still waiting for other people to show up. Just sitting here. Alone. You guys won't believe it, but people actually showed up. But I won't show you because it's a dad and his kid, and I don't want to be that guy. And oh my god, we see the Big Dylan. Leave it alone.
Oh my god, it's Zulu and Pomni and Gang with Jax. Oh my god. Oh my freaking god.
That is not Pomni, bro. That's not Jax or Pomni. This is fucked up. This is fucked up ever doing this.
You're Pomni. Welcome home.
I'm gonna record this off the dash cam, but since I drive a manual, if I stall, it's just gonna cut out randomly. But yeah, no, honestly, I was quite surprised by the audience etiquette. I expected it to be Minecraft movie level, and everyone was very respectful. There was some kid that was sitting beside me, and every once in a while he'd like repeat what the character is saying. Like in the scene where Kane goes, "I am God," the kid just goes, "God." No, genuinely, like, it was, the audience was respectful. They know how to watch a movie. They kept fucking silent. I'm not saying that theater worker is lying by any means, but you know, I was pleasantly surprised by, you know, how, for lack of a better word, well-behaved people were. I thought it would be completely buck wild. I thought it would be Wild West. I thought it would be cowboy mode. It wasn't. It was honestly, it was just, you know, normal. And that shouldn't be like a, oh my god, these people are fucking amazing for acting regularly. But, you know, my expectations were low. No one commented on the Big Dylan shirt, which, I mean, like, I guess people fucking hate me or something. I thought people would be lining up to be like, oh my gosh, Big Dylan from popular digital circus song Doors Jam, Wait I'm Mad. That's so cool, but no one even addressed it. But yeah, my theater experience wasn't awful. Now, the actual movie, I know a standing line
until you think you have the time to spend an evening with me.
Title. I'm gonna keep a Big Dylan on. It just gives me a sense of comfort, you know? First of all, before I get into anything, I just gotta say, shout out Pomni, shout out Jax, shout out Zooble! The finale. Man, I gotta say,
I'm not impressed.
I can't really get into any specifics because who would I be to get mad at Glitch for releasing this in a way that it will be spoiled for people who don't buy a ticket and then giving a spoiler review, but yeah, it was just not great. I'd genuinely suggest waiting until it comes out online. I know that when I post this, that'll be redundant because it'll be out online in 4 days, but yeah, it was just not great. It definitely exceeded my expectations, but that's only because my expectations were dropped to the floor when the movie leaked and everyone on the internet was saying that it was the worst thing ever. I want to give a spoiler-heavy review though, so in the description there is a link to an unlisted video that'll go live on June 19th, and that will serve as the episode 9 segment of this video. But for now, all I can really say is 7.8 out of 10.
Congratulations, all of my friends.
Conclusions. I've never been good at conclusions. Most of my conclusion segments start off with me saying that I'm bad at conclusions. But the way I see it, there are 2 ways I need to conclude this video. By making a conclusion on the show, and by making a conclusion on Digital Circus as a phenomenon. The show, that's the easy one. I think I'll always have a place for Digital Circus in my heart. This show ended up being one of those hyperfixations for me, like FNAF or Undertale, where even though there are flaws, things to criticize, and in the case of FNAF, stuff that just sucks, I'll always have love for all of them. Digital Circus will always be important to me on some level. But also, I genuinely believe that most of the episodes are legitimately excellent television. Episodes 3, 6, and 8 are up there in my top 50 episodes of all time. Yeah, this show really just ended up hitting me here. I'll always have love for it, and I'm sad to see it go. But as a show, Digital Circus falls short of being great. The individual episodes might be very good, but there's too many problems when you look at it as a collective. It's too short, it doesn't consistently develop characters, the writing is inconsistent, it doesn't wrap up nicely. So while I'll always have a soft spot for Digital Circus in my heart of hearts, at the end of the day, I can't really give it more than a 7.7 out of 10. It's just too flawed, but I will say that I am eager to see what Gooseworx makes next. Now, as a phenomenon, I think Digital Circus is a great case study on some of the most toxic and annoying people in the world. Because through no fault of its own, this show became an epicenter for all of the worst people on the internet. And it's funny that it's on both sides. The haters and fans can be equally awful. Like, since day one, the UTTP, which is a group of losers on the internet, have targeted the show and the people behind the show, and they love to spam animal gore into replies of tweets talking about Digital Circus. The UTTP also doxed the creator of the show, Gooseworx. But on the other side, there are some fans that are so fucking entitled and needy that if an episode doesn't go exactly how they want, they're just gonna harass the people behind the show. And yes, some of the people behind Digital Circus are pretty problematic. That does not justify any of this. Like, this shit affects people. Like Gooseworx famously crashing out on Reddit after years and years of this shit being dumped on her. And of course her outburst is now mocked by everyone online because that's just what you do, I guess. This sort of shit is why I'm so pessimistic about the internet. Because as much as I want to think that maybe if people see how Gooseworx's enthusiasm for this show has been drained out of them for the past 2.5 years, people might think, oh, this shit isn't okay, and we shouldn't shrug our shoulders and say that's the internet for you whenever a creator gets doxxed and harassed. But I'm gonna be real. That's not gonna fucking happen. I have no hope that this shit will ever be fixed. Toxicity and negativity will rule the internet forever. And you can't even drown it out by being overly positive and giving a bunch of love, because that's not how the human brain works. Toxic fan culture on the internet will always be getting worse. I don't have any conclusions or a solution to this. Sometimes shit just sucks. But anyways, shout out Pomni, shout out Jax, and a big shout out to my friend Kinger. Hey, welcome to the outro. I mean, what's the video? I don't know. I guess to quote Gooseworx, I hope people get what I was going for with this whole thing. Like, I have, you know, a sneaking suspicion that this video could get a lot of flack, especially given the fact that I talked about, you know, all of the controversies and stuff like that. I hope the video is taken in the tone that it is intended. Really long one. I expected it to be long. I probably didn't expect it to be this long. I think this is my longest real video now, so that's, you know, that's cool. But yeah, like, with talking about, you know, the whole video, it's like, not much to say. I think people will either, you know, get what I was trying to go for, you know, when discussing the controversial aspects of the fandom, or people will not. And if they don't, that will be very fun for me. Something else, unrelated, is recently a fan contacted me, you know, asking if I wanted to do some voice works for an animation, and I said yes. So that animation will be coming out at some point, and it's like an Adventure Time alternate universe animation, and I voiced Prismo. It was just pretty funny because after I said yes to voicing Prismo, I had realized that I've already gotten like 14 comments of people saying that I sound like Prismo, or that I sound like Kumail Nanjiani, which is the same thing as saying I sound like Prismo, because he's the voice actor. But yeah, so I've, you know, I have a project to promote. I did some voice work in this cool little animation. I think I did fine for a first-time voice actor. I don't know how it's going to turn out. It's not done yet, but when it is done, I'll make sure to post it on my Instagram. And speaking of my Instagram, I'm also going to promote my Instagram here. Go follow the Gug Instagram. Usually all I have to say about the Instagram is that I'll post links to videos when they come out, if I remember to. But now I can say that I've actually been doing stuff on the Gug Instagram. For like the past week or so, I've been posting these weird, stupid, digital circus-themed shit posts that I think are only funny to me and like one other person.
I found something in the digital. Okay. What did you find? A digital circus.
But yeah, I posted them sort of as a cathartic thing because this video was kind of making me go insane. Because from the span of like a week, I went from having like 10 minutes of video cut together to all video clips, all voiceover, all editing, having that completely done, and it was like 30 minutes. And so I've been fucking grinding this out. It has been an ordeal, but I'm happy with what came out of it. But yeah, if you want to see me post fun little shit posts live, go follow my Instagram. I will say that I'm probably only going to do that if I feel the motivation to, so you'll probably only have to wait like 6 months to be able to see it live. Yeah. Pomni.